Ugh. Weighing at 45 pounds, I have this massive 26-inch sycamore platter blank. And today, I'm gonna turn it. I'm Nick, and welcome to my shop. If you're new here, I'm a wood turner. I show you how to turn things on the lathe and do some fun projects on the way. And today, I have this 26-inch sycamore platter blank. I've been kicking this around in my shop for a few years, and today, I'm gonna turn it. This thing is so big that it doesn't really fit on my lathe. I actually had to get what's called the outboard extension, which means I'm turning off the side of the lathe on this special apparatus to go big. So that's gonna stretch my ability, and it's a little scary, so let's get to it. So first things first, I need to figure out roughly where the center of this thing is. I typically use these circles that I cut out, but I have nothing this big. So I guess I'll just use a yardstick. Kind of just guess. Half of 26 is 13. Okay, I have a line down the middle. And that is 35 inches long. So that's roughly center. Yeah, the lines are close enough. Now the goal is to kind of lop off the corners using the bandsaw, but I need the circle drawn. How am I gonna do that? Let's see, I got a compass. It goes 8 inches. I need bigger. There we go. Now this thing will rotate around in a circle. Cool. I now have a circle. I guess the next step is to wrangle this over to the bandsaw and get these corners cut off. Okay. This thing is a little bit more manageable now that I got the ends cut off. It's still big. I'm gonna have to get you moved. Man, do I need more room. Let's talk lathe. This is a Laguna 1836, and what that means is I have 18 inches of swing over here, so I can turn bowls, platters to 80 inches wide, and 36 inches so I can turn something on a spindle stock, 36 inches that way. Now, that platter is bigger than 18 inches, so I'm going to have to do what's called outboard turning, where I turn off the side of the lathe, and I have the kit for this. Down here I have a bedway bolted on, and I can slide my headstock down onto it and get more room. Then my headstock is going to slide all the way down here, and I can turn outboard. Okay. Ooh. And there we go. The lathe is converted for outboard turning. This is where things get fun. I typically grab onto stuff using number 3 jaws, which are pretty big. But something like this, I have to go up a size. And I have number 5 jaws. Basically, bigger piece of wood, bigger jaws to grab onto things. So I need to shoot for a tenon that is 5 1/4 inches big. Now the other question is, how do I get this on the lathe to turn it to get the tenon? I could just jam chuck it like I always do. That seems risky. The other thing I have that I can use to mount on the lathe is a face plate, which you drive screws in. Now the problem is I don't have room for screws in this piece of wood, so I could glue a block of wood on, but I do have centers. I can just turn between centers and I'll be fine because I have tailstock support. So yeah, I'll just turn between centers. Okay. Now I have to hold this thing up as I get it on. That's gonna suck. Ooh, that's the perfect thickness. So I'm just trying to shim it in here to get the centers. Because this thing is heavy and it's hard for me to hold it and turn a crank at the same time. Now the question is, how straight did I get this? Need to go up a smidgen. I'm off by 1 carpenter pencil. Come on, get under there. Oh, dang it. Let's just try brute forcing this. Hey, look at that. Oop. I did it. It's on there. It's fairly balanced. Cool. Oh boy, this thing's big. So, it's on here. It's not as secured as I'd like to be on here. So what I'm gonna do is get the tenon cut, which is the large tenon, but small for this thing, and then get it into the chuck. Will be a lot more secure and I'll be a lot happier with how it is. But until then, it's hold between centers. It should be good. Okay, let's go. Oh, that takes a while to stop. It's cutting fairly good, actually. This piece is large, so I'm measuring the tenon here to make sure it is absolutely right. So far, there's two things concerning me here. One is how long it takes for this piece to stop spinning. And two, right now I have to reach around the piece to turn off the lathe. I now understand why some lathes have remote controls over here. Now I was just using this little steb center to hold it in. Well, I got the chuck on. I'm not going to trust it fully because I have tailstock support. So now, this is not going anywhere. It's being held on tight. This is not required because that chuck should hold it, but with tailstock support, it will hold it. That ain't going nowhere. This piece is out of balance and the lathe is actually rocking back and forth. So I'm turning at about 200 RPM until I get it round and true. So I got this side flat here. This outside edge is basically round. And I need to go and get this side flattened. So once everything is all true and flat, I should be able to figure out the shape and go from there. Well, this is a fun problem. I can't bring the tool rest around because it hits the piece. I'll have to remove the extension, move it over, and put the extension back in. The piece is too big. With the piece round, I can now have the platter start to take shape. I'm going to start from the bottom outside edge and work my way in. I got this back the shape that I want, so I'm going to move on to the front. What I'm shooting for here is a 1/2 inch thick platter. Now it is a little on the thick side, but this is a big piece, so it's going to be fine. and it's just this back and forth. Turn a little bit, measure, until I get to the exact shape I want. Okay, got this flat, and I'm ready to start sanding. My sanding rig does not fit on here very well. Guess that'll have to do. I don't want to bore you with sanding, but you can see there's still a lot of tool marks and tear out, so there's a bunch of sanding to do. I got this thing sanded up to 600 grit, but I still have this tenon left, so I'm going to reverse this around, jam chuck it back onto the lathe, and get that turned off. And for the jam chuck, I'm just going to use a maple bowl that I have kicking around in the shop. So that should work perfect. This face here of this jam chuck wobbles just a little bit, so I'm just going to take a little bit off and make it true. Now I need to get this big boy back on. And do everything one-handed. Oh, come on. Sound is it not being perfectly flat, and it's kind of moving in the chuck, but I have some of that anti-fatigue mat that I can shove in front. This platter turned out fantastic. The final dimensions is about 25 inches wide and it weighs about 5 pounds. The one thing about platters of this size is they're really just for show. tables are not big enough for this to be on it and have place settings around it. So this is probably not going to get used, but it's going to get shown off. But that doesn't stop this piece from being really cool and a lot of fun to turn. Anyway, that's about it for this video. If you guys want to help out the channel, hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a thing. Anyway, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.